Franxology
like
and
the Hall of
Bobby
really
yeah,
good.
right. But what, like you said, the distinction usually is first ballot,
Yep.
or unanimous or whatever. So that's usually kind of the distinction that you can make there.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
This is The Deep End with the diver Reagan Hinsey on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to a special segment of The Deep End here on this Saturday, going all the way up from 10 to 11. And that should take us through this morning. And then obviously, I think we'll have some more coming down the slate here. I'll have to talk to the producers, double check here. But nonetheless, we do have Reagan Hinsey here in studio. And you also have a birthday in the family, is what you came in here with. Who do you want to shout out on this day?
It's my sister's 18th birthday. So happy birthday, Sydney. I doubt you're listening because you're all the way in Texas and probably asleep, but happy birthday.
Were you and Sydney super close growing up?
Not super close. I think we're getting closer as we're getting older. But I've
one
talked
of those siblings.
Yeah,
where
people
it's
have said
pretty
that's
violent
normal
early on, and then over time. That's what it was with my siblings. I think that's pretty natural. Like you get older and you kind of realize, like, I don't know why. I think you're just not rooting super hard for your brothers at least. Like you don't want them to be cooler than you, so you're just kind of like, you don't want to be overly supportive. But then you get older and you're like, okay, that was really dumb. Like I wasted a lot of good time with you just by being arrogant, if you will.
Yeah, and I don't know. When people when it's your birthday and people are like, do you feel older? And you're like, no. But now it's like my sister's 18 and I'm used to her being 5. So now I feel old. But during my birthdays, I don't feel any older.
Yeah, because it's only 4-year difference, right? You're 22 and she's
about
only 18.
To be, yeah.
Okay. And then when's your birthday?
August 10th.
August 10th.
Yeah, the day after my mom's.
Oh, really? You got your mom, and that's nice. Back to back. Do you guys celebrate that on the same day then? I know some families do that. Well, they'll just have one big party.
Usually, yeah, but since I'm here and she's home, not since I've been here.
Well, nonetheless, if you guys want to join the show, feel free to hit up the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. We got me and Reagan sitting in here in studio. And then, we can go anywhere with this. It's a beautiful... Did you get any rain where you were at last night? It was raining. Anyone in Lincoln, shout out if you got rain, because it was all over the map. It was like a torrential rain where I was at, and then I'd call up some of my friends and they didn't get a drop. Some people were mowing while I was in a downpour south of Lincoln.
Yes, yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon.
I got a little bit of a sprinkle and I didn't even know it was raining, but I live in a duplex, and the laundry is in the basement, so I have to go outside to get into the basement. And I walked outside as soon as it started sprinkling, and I was like, "Oh man, I gotta go fast before it starts pouring." But then it just stopped. So I just got a little bit of a sprinkle.
Oh, you didn't actually get the downpour?
No.
Oh, it was pretty. The entire streets. You know where Tanner's is at, South Lincoln?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going through there, and all of that was flooded and a flash flood. Not over the grass, but the roads were just it looked like what do you call them? Whitewater rafts.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I didn't expect that much rain. It came out of nowhere and then it went away, but it was just one of those weird things because Lincoln's definitely in that bubble for whatever reason. Have you ever noticed the weather? It always just goes right around Lincoln.
Yeah, I think I have noticed because I'm it doesn't rain very often here.
No. And every time I go up north, I'm just driving through storm after storm after storm.
Oh, every time I drive home, I'm like driving in a flash flood.
And I always get really unlucky. Every time I decide to go home, which is 3 hours north, it's probably a lot worse for you, obviously. How long is the drive for you to get
12
back home?
hours.
And do you usually drive or do you fly?
Yeah, I usually drive.
Yeah, 12
Because
hours.
Texas has a weird car inspection thing, so I have to go back down and get it inspected every year.
I always forget about that.
Yeah.
Break that down again for all the listeners, because this is weird. I didn't realize this was a thing that if you're from Texas, you can't just do that.
So every year we have to get an inspection before we can get our car like re-registered, I guess is the right. I don't know if that's the right term, but like, you know how you have stickers on the back on your back license plates? We have it on our front dash. And so like mine always expires in May. So after spring semester, I always drive home to get my car inspected and like up to date.
Is it like a sticker on the dash?
Yeah, it's a sticker.
So it's like the same thing.
Yeah, it's just way bigger.
Way more noticeable. You're gonna get pulled over right away, probably.
Yeah.
I can see that. Because with the stickers, I've had it where I've drove around a month not realizing I forgot to put them on. I got them in the mail, my nice little stickers, and then I was just driving around, ended up getting a ticket, and they're just sitting in my middle console. So
yeah.
I think I told that story once where I messed up because I had them with me and I just totally spaced out, forgot to put them on.
I think I remember you talking
it's
about
like
it.
I think it's like a $175 fine. It's not cheap. I'll put it that way. It's definitely not cheap. But again, if you guys want to join the show, 402-464-5685. And we're gonna be going all the way up here until 11 o'clock. So if you guys want to join in, feel free to do so. But Reagan, what have you been up to? You have a lot less on your hands these days. Obviously, still school's going on, but other than that, pick up any new hobbies?
I'm actually not doing summer school.
Oh,
so
okay,
I don't
that's
even have
nice.
summer school going on. But I work at Hillcrest Country Club as like the little dive coach. And then I read, and that's about it. I worked out for the first time in 2 months on Wednesday.
How'd that go?
I could barely walk down my stairs yesterday. It was so bad.
What were you doing, legs or what? Why couldn't you walk down the steps?
So I tried to do like hamstrings and glutes. And then I went with my friend Sarah, and she was like, let's do a finisher. And I was like, oh man, okay. And it was 3 rounds of like a wall sit while somebody else does like weighted lunges. And then like you do the weighted lunges while the other person's doing wall sits. And so I think that killed my quads.
Oh yeah.
And so it was just like my legs in general were like dying. And like I said, it was the first time I worked out in 2 months. So I picked up the weights that I could do when I was working out every day. And so I was like,
yeah, that'll humble you real quick.
I was like, oh, it hasn't been that long, but I can't do, like, I could barely leg press a plate. And I was like, this is embarrassing. I could do 4.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast your body deteriorates compared to like how long it takes to get it strong.
Yeah.
It does not take very much time off at all. Like I really need to I want to run like a marathon before I'm done. Like that's a goal. I don't care about like what the time is. I just want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to get going, like every time I run during the summer, especially when it's like hot out, I'm always looking forward to the heat because I hate the cold, but then running in it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, it kills me.
On top of humidity. Horrible.
Yeah, but you said the Texas humidity is worse, right?
Texas humidity is worse, but my dad was a track coach at A&M and then at Sam Houston State University for a while. Now he's the assistant athletic director, but like track was his life. And so when he had like me and my sister were younger, we did summer track like a little rec league, and he would coach it, and like the practices were like at 5 p.m. And so it'd be like 115 degrees and we'd be doing like 800 splits. And I was like, Dad, what are we doing? Like I was like 10-year-old me, like barely making it around the track once.
Yeah. What was your least favorite sport in high school? Because that track was that one for me. I did track, I think it was junior year, just to kind of hang out with the senior class before they graduated. Because you got to remember, I was a class of 40, and my class above me, I think, was in the 30s. So like very small. So like your friends are a lot more, you got close friends because there's not a lot of them around. So I just did it for that year. And just to try it, see if I liked it. I was in the 800 mile, 2 mile. Did not like it. Yep. Yeah, I couldn't stand track. I think is up there for my least favorite. It's still worth to try it, I just wasn't super naturally blessed. If I was dominating, yeah, I probably would have loved it. But I don't know. Do you have one in particular?
I didn't like volleyball that much.
Really? That's
I like watching it, and I like quote playing it. But like when I was in like middle school, when I was doing it, I was the one of the only ones that didn't do like select teams.
Oh,
and so everybody was
a little
like
better,
miles ahead of me.
What
And
position?
I was a setter.
Okay.
But I also learned later in life that I do not have a vertical, which the board helps me with that. So thank you. But that didn't help my volleyball skills either. So
yeah, that's the same way. They asked if I want to do high jump, and I was like, I don't know if you guys have seen me jump. Like, that's not a good idea. I did it for a little bit, and like, I could medal if it was a really bad meet, but I don't want to be there just like hoping that everyone else around me isn't very good. Because that was the only way I was really going to medal in high jump. The 800, not my cup of tea. Mile was probably my best. 2 mile, I wasn't that into running yet. I think I probably should just went all in. That's one thing I wish I could have told my younger self is like, I probably still wouldn't have stuck with track, but definitely like just go all in, see what happens. Only do it for a year. Because same thing for speech. I did speech for a year. I really didn't try super hard, so I just like, oh look, it was bad. I gave up.
Yeah.
And I just didn't give a ton of effort. Were there anything else? Any other regrets? Did you do speech or one act? Anything else growing up in high school?
I just did. So my mom was a my mom still is a basketball coach, and so I did cross country, track, basketball, volleyball, diving, and choir. And
oh, so you didn't have any off time?
No. But if I wasn't diving, I'd probably be doing track, just because. I don't know why, but my dad was like, "You're good at the 800," and I was like, "Yeah, but the 800 and the 400 are the hardest 2 races, in my opinion."
I think the 800, 400 probably too, but I think the 800 is like.
I think the 3 hardest races are the 400, the 800, and the 400 hurdles.
Yeah, 400. I've never had to do those, and I'm happy to not ever do them.
Brutal.
I don't know if we had those.
I quit every single sport except diving, and I'm not counting choir as a sport, but I only did diving and choir in high school, but I like grew up doing all the other ones. So I did the 300 hurdles, and that was bad enough. And my coach used to call me the Energizer Bunny because I would just go the same speed the entire time. Like especially in like the hurdles, when it was time for like the kick at the end, I had nothing left. And at the beginning, like you're supposed to start out slower, and I'd like be ahead of everybody. And then like the turn, when everybody would start kicking, they'd all pass me, and I'd just be like going the same pace.
So you did start fast, finish slow.
No, I just stayed the same speed. I didn't have a strategy at all.
And then from the text line, Bryce chimes in. He says, track is a nice catch for all athletes. Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing. Again, I wasn't super fond of my track experience, but I should have tried harder at that as well. And this is a good method, I think, for all athletes, just to do it 1 year. I think it's definitely, and do it not, junior high wouldn't count for me. I feel like high school, because high school, you're a little more grown. Junior high, you're not. I mean, I wasn't physically built anything like I was my junior year. Then I was in 8th grade. I think 8th grade is just kind of a weird year where you might not be very good at it yet. Like, it just depends when you grow into your body.
Yeah. And I mean, over high school, my dad was like, you should still just like run on your own time, just because he was like, running's good for you. It'll keep you in shape. And I'm like, Dad, I work out 3.5 hours a day already. And he was like, I know, but like, you should still run. Like, it keeps your heart healthy. And I was like, okay, Dad.
Did you take heed to it? Did you actually get into running?
I never like got into it. I'd run like 1 or 2 miles in the morning before school, but like never like. I see like the cross country kids running like 100 miles a week, and I was like, I could never. I could never.
Yeah, it's I didn't really get into running until I was graduating from high school, simply because I kept hearing the freshman 15, and I was like, oh man, I don't want to put on weight. So I was trying really hard to avoid that. And yeah, I got into running, but then I started drinking Mountain Dew, so it kind of like countered it out anyways. It wasn't.
Mountain Dew is nasty.
Oh, I love Mountain Dew for some reason.
No, it's my least favorite soda. I don't like soda in general, though.
Rank your sodas.
I don't go to it. Root beer and Dr. Pepper are my top 2.
Okay. Is there a third?
That
was a very strong 1-2 answer right off the bat.
Like, I guess like a Sprite or something, or like a ginger ale if I'm sick. But like, I usually don't drink soda. I usually drink water or tea or something.
That's good. That's a responsible thing to do. But you said that you were drinking certain sodas when you're sick. Was that something your parents told you, or you just found out? Because I did that too. My parents would get me a Sprite.
Or ginger ale, like
yeah,
Sprite or
and they
ginger
said
ale.
like you'll belch and that'll get the sickness will come out. I don't know if
I don't know. I've always done it. Like my parents would give me like a Sprite or a ginger ale and saltines.
the saltines make sense because it's easy to eat.
Yeah.
And you need to get something, but I don't understand the Sprite because I always got Sprite too. I'd be like, I'd be, puking my brains out. And they'd be like, do you want a Sprite? And I would still say yes. And then I don't know if it ever actually helped, if it was just like, what do you call it? The placebo effect.
It's
yeah,
like,
Bryce is with me. He says Code Red, Mountain Dew, Code Red.
Okay, I've had that one. That one's not bad, but like normal Mountain Dew, I think tastes like electricity.
That sounds pretty good.
I mean,
Tastes like
I don't know what
electricity
tastes like, but like that's what I would imagine it tastes like.
Tastes like energy. I think but it is like 280 calories, so it's not. You can't be chugging Mountain Dews left and right.
Just like my sister's favorite candy is the Sweet Tart Ropes, and she's like, because this is what I would imagine electrical wires would taste like.
Yeah, that's a good. Oh, you know what? Before we go to break here, since we're kind of on this subject, and it is Sydney's 18th birthday, Reagan, if you could go back in time to your 18th-year-old self, and it's your birthday, what are you going to tell yourself on your 18th birthday?
You're gonna be able to go through drive-thrus by yourself.
Oh, that's right. You weren't over the drive-thru yet.
No.
Yeah, for anyone that's listening and doesn't know, Reagan Hinsey was at one point, despite having a radio show today, couldn't handle a fast food drive-thru.
Nope.
Because of anxiety or hitting the window. What was the biggest fear? I can't remember.
Just talking to people.
Just talking to people.
I'm still not very good at it, but I can at least go through a drive-thru.
Oh, here we go. Nyla Boo chimes in. She says Sprite is supposed to settle the stomach, but it has to be flat.
Oh. Yeah, it was never flat.
Yeah, no, it was always carbonated. I thought you wanted the carbonated or carbonation. I thought that was the whole point of it.
Well, if you just wanted the carbonation, then technically you could have any soda or sparkling water.
That's a good point. I didn't think that one through.
I don't think I did.
Well,
either.
Nyla Boo did, though. So appreciate you texting in. And again, 402-464-5685. For anyone who does want to chime in, it's me and Reagan going all the way up until 11 o'clock. We'll go ahead and throw it to break here, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the deep end on 93.7 The Ticket.
Old School with DP and J.
I'll go back to the late great Wes Unseld, who always made these discussions based on meat. He would always
because I was a big brother and
right,
he looked like
right,
he liked to eat.
Right. He based it on. He would say, well, "Listen, there's a couple of the top choice prime plays. There just aren't that many. If you get a chance to eat prime, you eat prime. There are folks that would rather have them, and then there are folks that, quite frankly, are good with hamburgers and hot dogs."
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Finesse. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Spring is here, and it's time to wake up Judson. Judson Irrigation is eager and ready to get your sprinkler system up and running for the season. Judson's technicians will check for winter damage, adjust your sprinkler heads, and show you how to set your controller for effective sprinkling coverage. The Judson Irrigation team is here for you. Stay safe.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Can I go to the sleepover? If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing." Mom. I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal? I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today. Great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Ad Council.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for fireworks Fridays, souvenir Saturdays, Sunday family fun days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
I feel like sometimes when we have Hall of Fames, and this is no disrespect to Frank or Gary Pinkel, who got in last year, the longtime Missouri coach. Shouldn't there be a different Hall of Fame for like Gary Pinkel and Frank Solich
Like
and
the Hall of
Tom Osborne
the
and Bob,
Hall of
you know,
really,
Bob
really,
Bowden?
really good.
Right. But what, like you said, the distinction usually is first ballot,
Yep.
or unanimous or whatever. So that's usually kind of the distinction that you can make there.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Can I go to the sleepover? If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing. Mom. I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the deep end with Reagan and Madison on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends. I'm Harrison Arns running the ones and twos. We have the host, Reagan Hinsey of the Deep End here as always. No Madison Ronquillo as she's moved on with her life. She's got new plans going ahead, and we all wish the best for her. She's out of here, right? She's probably been out here for quite a while now.
She's in DC. She was actually in Japan for a couple weeks at the beginning of summer.
Oh, that's right. She did talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you guys stayed in touch?
A little bit, yeah.
That's cool. How's she been doing? Is she liking the move? Homesick at all?
She's good. She's at home right now. She's in DC with her parents.
That's right. She is from that area. Or her parents got a home in that area.
Yeah, her
anyways.
parents got a home in that area. But she starts a anesthesiology assistant school like the second week of August at Indiana.
That's awesome. Well, we wish the best for her. And anyone that follows her on Twitter, definitely wish her the best because, well, maybe we'll get her to call in one of these times. I feel like we can get her one of these times to call in on comment on this next year's roster, see what she thinks about it.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I do want to talk about something because I had no idea about this, and we are kind of in the season of hail. You were talking about a Red Rock concert. Who was it out of the Louis, you said?
Yeah, Louis from One Direction was
Louis
having
from
a
One Direction.
concert.
And don't worry, it's not a One Direction segment. It's more about the hail. At Red Rock, I didn't realize, but there was 80-some people injured.
Yeah. So, like Red Rock's amphitheater is obviously an amphitheater. It doesn't have a roof. It's outside.
Yep.
It's like one of the coolest concert
beautiful,
venues
yeah.
I've ever seen. Before he came on, a really big hailstorm came, and they were like tennis ball sized hail. And it said like 80 to 90 people were injured. And I was like, I can't even imagine like the cars too. Like, cause obviously like he didn't come on stage and like he canceled and stuff, but like everybody was ready to see him sing.
Mm-hmm.
So like everybody was in
They're willing to get hurt to see him sing. They were risking it all.
Well, I don't think it wasn't supposed to happen. It was like it just came in super fast.
Oh,
like it wasn't.
They didn't see it coming on the radar at all. Obviously, until like just shortly before.
Yeah, they didn't see it. Is what I read.
You're probably right because you wouldn't be. Maybe they knew like there's a chance of a storm, but hail.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't in fruition.
But just like everybody running back to their cars.
Yeah, and then trying to get out of there too. And I'm sure some people got like cracked windshields.
Yeah.
Everyone's stressed out and angry already.
Yeah.
And you're just, What's the worst hailstorm you've ever drove through? Or have you been lucky enough not to have been through one?
I've never driven through a hailstorm. There's been like one thing here, but like I was home and like my car got like 2 dents on it, but it was like, I don't know how to gauge how big hail is, but they weren't that big.
Okay,
So.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing from the text line. Not your story. 844 says 1D's the bomb, dude. No need to apologize. Oh, it's
I'm
from
waiting-
Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy.
I'm waiting for the comeback tour.
The comeback tour.
I'm
I didn't realize they were gone. They've been gone.
They're not at One Direction anymore. They're broken up.
I thought they came back though for
Nope.
a little bit.
Nope.
Okay, so there is talks. They're gonna bring it back together.
Oh no, there's not talks. I just have hope.
Is there fan talks that they need to get back together? Like, is there still strong like One Direction fan base that's like
For
yelling
sure.
at the top of their lungs for them to get back together?
For sure. But like I don't listen to them on the daily. Like but I like did grow up with them, and I saw them twice in concert when they were a thing. And
yeah,
so
'cause
like
I remember in high school everyone loving One Direction.
yeah, so like if they do get back together and go on a tour, I'd love to go see them. That'd be cool.
So you got Harry Styles is the one I always remember.
Yeah.
And you got Louis. Who are the other two?
There's 5.
There's 5. Okay. Who are the other 3?
So there's Harry, Louis, Liam, Niall, and
Liam.
Zayn.
I knew Liam. For some reason I remember Liam because that was the guy that I remember all the girls in high school. They all liked Liam. I was like, well, we're in
Really?
Hardyton, Nebraska, and there's like 20 guys. So Liam's probably not here. You're gonna have to pick one of these. But yeah, no, yeah, it was always Liam. I couldn't tell you what he looked like. I can't remember. That's just my experience with
like
One
a British
Direction.
dude.
Man, I'm trying to think of other cult following bands that really just took over. Because we're kind of in that similar era. I feel like when I was growing up, Weezer and that emo, like My Chemical Romance, that stuff was on the way out.
I saw a TikTok that made me laugh about Weezer.
I love Weezer. I still listen to their
Oh,
stuff.
they just were making fun of like it was like a meme thing, like on TikTok. You know
Uh-huh.
how there's like just like the thing of like photos.
Oh yeah.
It was just like a meme of like it said like tweezer, and everybody had like tweezers as heads and stuff like that, and it made me laugh. And I was like, "This is the stupidest thing ever. Why am I laughing?" But my
Good
humor's
stuff.
broken. So
Yeah, I'd say Weezer was a good one. You got any other bands that were just like everyone was into back in the day? Drake was obviously big. Summer 16 or Summer 17 or Summer 16 album. I can't remember the name. That was really big. Even some of the assistant coaches were listening to that
I
for
mean, like,
basketball.
now I feel like the big 3 are like Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, and Harry Styles.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all on tour and they're all selling out like instantaneously.
Taylor Swift fans still scare me.
Yeah. One of my 11-year-olds that I coach was like, "Reagan, are you a Swiftie?" And I was like, "I'm not a Swiftie, but like I don't listen to her a lot."
Mhm.
And she was like,
That's offensive to a Swiftie, I think.
yeah, she was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, I'm just like not a fan. Like if I was like, I don't know, like I guess the term is like a stan, like a super obsessed fan of that, like will do anything for this artist.
Mhm.
I think that person for me would be John Bellion, because I just love his music, and I
I
think
think
he
I've
can
heard
do a lot.
some of it.
I think he can do a lot with like he's really good at producing, and so like he's behind the scenes on a lot of stuff. But he produced the most recent Jonas Brothers album,
Okay.
and so I've been listening to that because the Jonas Brothers are coming on tour and they're going to Omaha, and I want to get tickets just for the hope that maybe John Bellion will be on tour with them.
So that's another band, Jonas Brothers. But I felt like they were on the way out pretty early. Because they split up early, right?
Yeah,
And then they're not back together, or they are?
they are.
Okay, so they did come
They got back together in 2019.
I wonder if that's just the blueprint for boy bands. You kind of get big originally as a group, and then you go your separate ways, and then you just kind of let that build into the comeback, and then you come back and make a ton more money again.
Maybe.
Yeah, because then you kind of spread yourself out, make some new connections, and then when you're kind of settled there, then it's like, okay, let's all come back, and then we'll make a ton of money.
I mean, NSYNC didn't do that, did they?
No, I guess you're probably right.
Because Justin Timberlake's just
Mhm.
Justin Timberlake now.
Yeah, I think that's maybe what they're trying to be. It's just like, let me just take over on my own. If it doesn't work,
Yeah,
we'll just all meet back in the middle.
maybe.
You got any other bands? That's the only ones I can think of. What about a band that isn't necessarily popular, but is one that you grew up listening to in high school that's underrated, that you felt like didn't get enough noise?
Oh,
Or even
man.
today?
Today, the Rex,
The
100%. I wear
What's
like
the genre?
like alternative rock, pop rock, punk rock.
Okay.
I love them. I think they're great. I don't have anything bad to say about them. I've seen them twice in a year. Yeah.
With you being so into music, is it different listening to music now? Or when you turn on your usual stuff, are you just vibing, not thinking about it?
I can't listen to music the same.
Really?
Like if I see a live performance, I'll be like, oh, they're flat or something like that. And I'm like super analytical of everything.
So
And I'm
you've
like,
ruined live performances for yourself.
yes. But like, I also try to turn my brain off when I go see people live.
That's probably smart.
Just because I'm like, I don't want to think about this. I'm here for a concert.
Okay, so what's the best live performance where no one went flat and you're like, wow, they nailed it? With this newfound knowledge, what's the best one you've been to so far? Because I feel like for you, it might not even be like a super popular band. It might even just be like a random singer that you went to go and listen to.
I liked the band Camino a lot when I saw them. Sorry, I just have a little like anecdote.
Okay.
So you know how do you have Spotify or Apple Music?
Spotify.
Okay, you know how on Spotify like the singers have like their bios?
Yeah.
And like a lot of people's are like super super long and stuff like that. I won't like make you go look at the band Camino's bio, but all it says is your mom's favorite band. And I'm like, this is why I love the band Camino. Like that's
a good sell.
Yeah.
That's it.
Great.
That's all you need to know.
It's great.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, what else would you need to know? That's your mom's favorite band. You don't need to do any more research.
Yeah.
I
And
think
I'm
that's
like
a stamp of approval for most people.
like that's a classic joke. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Oh, we did have this was a couple weeks ago, but I'm curious. Would you do anything fun for Father's Day?
No, I just called my dad.
I had to call I was working, so I called my dad as well. And she's bringing it up. It's not even capitalized. It doesn't even have a period. It's just your mom's favorite band, all in lowercase.
Oh, it's so good.
They almost got about 3 million listens though, so they're doing
Yeah,
good.
they're doing pretty well. I think
Today it's so easy to like create yourself.
I think TikTok
if you have
helps.
the ability. Oh, TikTok, like just the ability to produce on your own.
Yeah. Well,
like you can
when
throw up anything.
When I started listening to the Rex, they were at like less than 100,000 listeners a month,
Mhm.
and now they're almost at 1 million. So, but like, I don't know. I saw this TikTok and it was like, TikTok eliminates
No way.
ageism. What?
Qdoba guy, literally wearing the hat right now. Love the Rex, and he sent a picture. He's got the Rex white hat with the black lettering font. The Rex.
I love them. I'm glad you like them.
That is awesome. Because they're not like super. You showed me the listens. It's only about 3 million total. So that's crazy.
Well, that's the band Camino. The Rex is less than 1 million a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
He's wearing the Rex hat though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, I saw this TikTok and I was like, what's his face from Coldplay, the lead singer? I can't remember his name.
Oh my gosh.
You know the face, right?
Yeah, I don't want to say it's not Justin Timberlake, but he looks like Justin Timberlake almost.
Kinda.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like the front man for Imagine Dragons too.
Hold on, let me just look it up real quick while you talk.
But he was like in an interview and he was like, TikTok has eliminated like ageism in the music industry because like in the past, like once you get like to like 30.
It's Chris Martin, by the way, but anyways.
Yes. Like you can be like growing as an individual or as a band, but once you hit 30, that's kind of like your peak. And like you go start slowly going down. But like
Mhm.
TikTok, like last year when Stranger Things came out, Running Up That Hill was like the #1 most listened to song.
That was insane. I've never
And,
got
like-
tired of a song so fast. It wasn't a bad song.
No, it was just like overplayed.
Abused, yeah.
So like he was like, I think it's cool that TikTok has brought that back, but then it's also that much harder to get a good song because at this point it almost has to get on TikTok to become popular.
Yeah, we're at a weird time.
Yeah.
ChatGPT too.
Huh?
ChatGPT too. You know what that's all
Yeah,
about?
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Knowing myself in high school, I'd find a way to get around a lot of that homework,
Mhm.
which is sad to say, but I think a lot of kids kind of think that way.
Yeah.
Like, okay, do I want to go play basketball with my friends or do this homework and do it honestly and spend 2 hours on it
Or longer.
or longer, depending on, if you're bad at the subject, could not, you could be stuck there all night.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy. And real quick, I do want to go back to Qdoba guy because he's also got 2 signed vinyls. He's been listening to them for years. So I think you and Qdoba guy need to go check out
to
a
a Rex
concert.
concert.
Yeah, no, go check out the vinyls. But no, that's awesome. And again, if you guys are listening, 402-464-5685. We're kind of all over the place, but it's a Saturday conversation. It's kind of that mood. And sports, we got that Monday through Friday and Sunday at this point. We got nonstop. So don't worry, there's plenty of sports. And if you don't want to listen to this, ticketfm.com. Literally got Hall of Famers left and right. You can catch all your podcasts. Plenty of good stuff there. But yeah, as we're kind of talking about the ChatGPT era, it's crazy. Like Yeah, you can really you see all the ghostwriters strikes too. They're all like a lot of these people are getting upset. Even like for main films, they're getting upset because they're using like ChatGPT for the rough draft.
What? I didn't know that's why there was like the writer's strike.
Yeah, it's getting out of control.
I didn't know that was the reason.
There's a lot of reasons to it, but that's one of
Okay.
them is like AI generated. Because like once it's not going to be great, but it's a lot easier to do it for free and then just pay a writer less to like, okay, now just fix it. Just tune it up.
Well, I saw I don't know if you know the name Colleen Hoover. She's an author that got really big because of TikTok.
Okay.
And like one of her best-selling books, it's called
Best-selling book.
It Ends With Us. It Ends
Okay.
With Us. I was like The Best of Me, but I was like, no, that's a Nicholas Sparks book and a movie. It Ends With Us, and Blake Lively was supposed to like they're making a movie adaptation,
Mhm.
and Blake Lively was supposed to play the lead, and they like canceled filming indefinitely because of the writer's strike.
That's incredible.
So
It's all over. I was on Reddit and there was a strike on Reddit too.
Interesting.
There's strikes left and right. Something about the moderators, like I don't know, they're trying to replace the Reddit wants to put in their own mods so they can control the site better instead of leaving it to the people to control it. I feel like we're just in a strike era. I feel like every day I go outside, there's someone with a banner saying you should or shouldn't support this, and it's a whirlwind.
I just need to do more research on it because I don't know much about, especially the writer's strike. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, the writer's strikes. I feel like that one takes a long time. That's why I'm not speaking super expansively on it because I don't know all the details. But yeah, man, it just right now I feel like we're just living in times with social media that also makes. I feel like I'm looking at a strike every other day, or just like a group of people, like all for good or bad. Like I'm not here to judge, but I think social media has just really opened everyone's eyes, and now it just feels like stuff's popping off all the time. And the mental health, I feel like that's a big reason why mental health is kind of out of control sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've seen it in college, and it feels like it gets worse with every generation, which I hope that changes. But
Well, I think I've read some things like obviously, yes, social media doesn't help mental health,
Mhm.
but like you said that you think it gets worse with every generation, and I've read things that it's because kids younger and younger are growing up with technology.
yeah, and so
like
it's not
that
their fault.
that like
Mhm.
availability to social media and to that comparison of others that starts.
Yeah, I just feel like you don't really learn anything off of firsthand experience anymore. Like it's really hard to.
Yeah.
Because you get an iPhone in your hand, you got the world at your disposal. Like anything you're curious about, you don't just go and try it and just kind of take the risk as they come at you.
Just Google it.
Yeah, you just Google it, you know everything that's coming at you, and then you decide I don't even want to do it. And you're kind of stuck in that cycle. It's weird.
Yeah.
Interesting times, but
Very.
who knows what's going to happen in the future. I feel like that segment went a little dark there, but there's good things to talk about. Listen to the Bigger Than the Score with Pete Ferguson, and you'll actually feel pretty good with the youth. Bryce says social media has done more harm than good. So that's hard for me even to say, though, because it's hard for me to say something like that's done more bad. Like the
What?
entire world. Bryce chimed in and said social media has done more harm than good. Like I definitely think it's done some bad things.
I can definitely see both sides.
Yeah, but we're also connected globally.
Yeah.
And we know when things are going array in countries that whether you believe we should be meddling with it or not, we can see what's going on with the rest of the world. So there's two sides to that coin. I don't know the right answer. I'm not going to expect Reagan to know the right answer. I don't know anyone really. I think that's just a time thing. But nonetheless, we better go to break here and get off this dark subject. I don't know where we went through a pretty dark little subject there. I think ChatGPT just kind of scares people. But nonetheless, we'll throw it to break. This is the Deep End. I'm Harrison Arns pushing the ones and twos. We got the host, Reagan Hinsey. As always, we'll send it to one more break and catch up with you guys on the other side.
Sunday morning. It's quiet. Not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not only the perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
The other part of this that I think is going to be on Jordy Ball's plate, fair or not, is peer recruiting, especially in-state recruiting.
Yeah. I became the recruiting face for Nebraska. Like pretty much whenever there was somebody that they wanted, they would send them to me, because there's nobody that can sell Nebraska like somebody who has been to Nebraska or lived in Nebraska.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
Their age?
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes? Their age? The way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am Hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Back to the deep end with Reagan and Madison on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the final segment of the Deep End here at 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. DP's waving in the background. We got DP in the building here, and Reagan, the host as always of the Deep End. And you guys have been great so far on the text line. If you want to chime in, 402-464-5685. Last segment, a little darker. Talks about social media, actually quite a bit. But nonetheless, it was a good conversation because we did get some feedback from the text line. And, man, social media seems to be the kind of scare, I would say, of the older generation. I'm not even going to say they're wrong. This could be a young person, too. It could be wrong. But they say social media is poison. Stay off social media, and your mental health will be so much better. And there definitely is some truth to that. All my best trips, if I put my phone down and I'm forced to leave my phone out of touch for like a week, even just 7 days, it's crazy how good you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like constantly being like preoccupied with your phone. Because that happens a lot. Like I'll be posting reels for the ticket and I'm like so glued. I'm like, oh, how many views this one get? And I keep checking. And it's like, well, it's been 3 hours. Like, why don't you just check it tomorrow instead of checking it every 3 hours? So stuff like that. I don't know. How are you with that stuff? Can you, because I think the best way to do it, if you're into social media, which if you're promoting yourself, it's good to be involved in it. But I think the best way to do it is just like post and then ghost. Like post it and don't worry about it. Like you said what you wanted to say. And if that's true, then you don't need to worry about the response.
Yeah, I don't have my notifications on for social media.
Oh, you don't?
Mm-mm.
That's smart. That's probably what I should do next.
Like if especially on like on Twitter, I don't have my notifications on. On TikTok, on Instagram,
Mhm.
Facebook, I don't have my notifications on.
Do you post a lot of TikToks? I don't have
No.
TikTok, so I
I'm
never
not,
see who's on there.
Like I'll be on social media, but I won't post on social media a lot. Like on Instagram, it's maybe like twice a year. So
That's crazy. I know, like, it is crazy how fast social media gets around because, you know, Livy Dunn, obviously, right? Super
Yeah.
social media. And, like, she was at the College World Series.
Mhm.
I think she put up, like, one TikTok or something. And then all of a sudden, she just had a swarm of people, like, running, like, trying to go find her down at the College World Series and get, like, autographs and
oh
stuff.
my goodness.
Yeah, it's crazy. But maybe, you know, if that's her. She was like, I know what I'm doing. Let's drive, you
Yeah.
know, my NIL. Let's get some more awareness, see what I can do here in Omaha.
Yeah. If I were her, I would post like you can put like drafts on TikTok and like not post them.
Oh, that'd be smart.
I'd wait until I left the place. So like if I was at the College World Series, like I'd wait until I went back home to post the stuff.
That's
but like I
smart.
don't think I could ever handle being famous.
Like celebrity famous.
Like celebrity famous. Even though I'm
Yeah.
a music major and I want to be an opera singer, but like opera singer famous isn't the same as like A-list celebrity famous.
Yeah, that stuff would drive me nuts. Like I can't imagine, you know, and unfortunately it happens to the females a lot more than the guys, but even guys too. Like you're at a beach and then someone takes a picture of you from miles away
Yep.
and then sells that to TMZ.
Yep.
Like I don't that whole TMZ and the pictures, all that I've always been confused about how a lot of that stuff's legal. I've never dove into it, but it always seems just seems creepy to me.
I don't know. I feel like I live a fairly private life. And
Yeah.
so like if I were famous and like nothing was private anymore, I think I would lose my mind. You know? Like not private, like if something became public because of something somebody else did.
Mm-hmm.
I like if it became public not because I said something about it. I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to handle it very well.
Yeah, and then Bryce chimes in. It says social media has changed the focus on what people care about. People do things for likes and views. Seem to care more about those things than what's actually real. And he also asks, why is she famous? LSU gymnast. She's just really good at what she does. I think that's all there is to that one. But yeah, nonetheless, it is kind of crazy. I think if you just have a real understanding of what social media is
Mhm.
and like don't get too wrapped up in that. Because I mean, I always think like if things go dark, who are you?
Yeah. But I mean, also if you're like, if your name is a household name now because of social media, it's kind of hard not to get wrapped up in that.
Yeah, that is true. Like and all the money and opportunities that present themselves.
Yeah.
But like if the power grid just went out, like there's no social media, you know, you're kind of back to square one. You gotta have some assets to you that I don't know. I think mental health is like big if you're just completely wrapping yourself into one thing. Like it happens to athletes, even just outside of social media. Like if you're a football player or you're a diver and you dive and then that ends and you've never done anything outside of that.
Can I get on a kind of another solemn topic?
Yeah, we got a little bit of time here. Probably got about 3 minutes. Go for it.
You're talking about that. And I actually talked about this with my friend the other day.
Mhm.
But I have no shame in admitting that I go to sports psych, which is basically therapy.
Yeah.
I have no shame in admitting that. And I know that's kind of like a weird subject to talk about. But a lot of one of the topics that we talked about is you've been diving your whole life and now you're not.
Yeah.
Like a lot of athletes when they're done with their sport, they kind of go through an identity crisis. So like it's more about like it's learning about how to control my emotion or like convey my emotions because I'm not very good at communicating. And so like I said, I don't like talking to strangers, so I don't like talking in general. But another part of it is like finding Reagan the person that loves to dive rather than Reagan the diver. So
That is big though. Because like you said, that happens to a lot of people,
Yeah.
especially like if you're a volleyball player, you might not be Jordan Larson. You know, you might not be going pro.
Yeah.
You have to be really, really good. I mean, it's not like there's an NBA and NFL out there that has, you know, these massive rosters where, you know, even in the NBA, it's like, you're not that good. Maybe try G League, see if you can get into the NBA that way. NFL, practice team, you're only going to make 6 figures. Sorry. You know, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
there's ways to kind of get out there. Track and field, that one's a little different. I'm not sure how many people can do that.
yeah.
Is
I
that
don't
what
know.
the pro league looks like? I mean, I'm sure stuff with Oregon.
I'm sure you
Nike.
could like
I don't know what that all looks like in the track world.
It might be one of those things where like you can go pro, but it's one of those things where like
I feel like you just become a
it's
sponsored
kind of
runner.
hard to it's kind of hard to make a name for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like you have to become like one of those social media sponsored runner guys.
Yeah.
Where you just like repping the products and you're a really gifted, talented runner. So that's what they know you for.
Yeah.
Kind of like Cameron Haynes. He's an insane mountain runner. One of those guys. But yeah, it is definitely just kind of a crazy era where it's huge to have that identity. So like just talking about that, obviously music's a big part of your life. Is that kind of what you lean on as like your, I guess I don't want to say identity because you're composed of a lot more things than just music at this point. But
Yeah.
what has that kind of been that thing like after diving that you've really grown to fall in love with?
I'm not really sure. I am excited to start working out again.
Despite being super sore after your
Despite
first
being
run.
super sore, yeah. But I don't really know. I actually thought about this the other day because, like, usually, like, you know how, like, icebreaker questions are like, tell me a fun fact. Like, I'd usually just be like, I'm on the swim and dive team. Like, and I'm like, what's my fun fact? I'm left-handed? I don't know.
Hey, that one always sells because that's still a minority thing. You can always call that one out. But yeah, I mean, and at this point too, I think a lot of youth are really hard on themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got to have it figured out. And it's like, you should try to be figuring out, but if you don't,
It's okay.
yeah, like some people don't figure it out till they're 35.
Yeah. I've learned a lot, like, even in just, like, the past month, like, it's okay to not have all the answers. So.
I think that's a good point to leave it. Finally, and on a positive note. I like that
Yay.
for once. With Madison not being here, it seems to happen more that we end on a positive note. She liked to really sway that last segment. But nonetheless, appreciate you guys for listening. You guys were awesome on the text line, so appreciate all of that. And again, this has been The Deep End. I'm Harrison Arns. That's the host, Reagan Hinsey, as always. And we will see you guys next week.